The hero, Leo Demonheart, was the one who saved humanity by defeating the Demon Lord. Everyone expressed their gratitude, but one individual was particularly fearful of Leo's power: the king. Overcome with fear of Leo's might, the king chose to betray him, ultimately banishing Leo from the kingdom. This betrayal ignited Leo's anger, and he resolved to seek revenge by allying himself with the very demons he had once fought. Thus began his journey to a castle where he hoped to join the demons' ranks. Upon arrival, Leo noticed the castle was in disrepair, but he pressed on and entered the throne room. There he encountered the demon queen Echidna, along with her 4 formidable followers, known as the 4 great generals. Leo approached them, removed his hood, and introduced himself as the former hero who once saved humanity. He expressed his desire to join the queen's demon army, but Echidna was less than pleased, hurling fire magic at him, singeing only his cape. Despite his best efforts to persuade her of his potential to strengthen her army, she continued to attack, dismissing him. Desperate, Leo turned to the 4 great generals for assistance, and they agreed to meet with him. During their discussion, it was revealed that a year prior, Echidna's demon army had attempted to invade the human realm. The human king had gathered a group of heroes to repel the attack, but only Leo had proven strong enough to defeat the demons. As Leo conversed with the generals, memories flooded back of how he had met and bested each of them. The first, Edward, a dragon with whom Leo had engaged in a sword duel, emerging victorious. The second, Mearns, a half-demon, half-human, who succumbed to Leo's powerful magic. The third, Lily, a beast who had lost her memory until Leo cared for her, only for her to turn against him once her memories were turned. She lost the fight, and following her tribe's customs, fell in love with Leo. And finally, Steina, a powerful succubus whose magic was thwarted by Leo's barrier. Steina, intrigued, asked Leo why he wished to join their demon army. Leo recounted his difficult journey after defeating Echidna, returning to his homeland only to find the people looking at him with fear and concern. Word had spread of his immense power, and the citizens feared he might turn malevolent. A young boy, wanting to express gratitude for protecting something precious, the philosopher's stone, invited Leo to the capital, but the king subsequently ordered him to leave, forcing Leo into hiding and a life of wandering until he learned of Echidna's search for new recruits. Believing he could join them, Leo prepared to showcase his abilities, convinced that if the world sought to rid itself of him, he would preemptively act. Steina listened intently to Leo's story, and believing in his sincerity, decided he could join the demon army on a trial basis, with 1 month to prove himself, under her watchful eye. However, a crucial rule was established. Queen Echidna must remain unaware of Leo's employment. After their meeting, Leo returned to the throne room, contemplating the extensive work ahead. Having nearly decimated the demon army previously, they would need to rebuild. He remembered Echidna's unusual command to her soldiers against killing, as she aspired for peaceful rule, and planned to inquire about her motivations after passing her test. The next morning, Leo rose early, eager to begin. He approached Steina's room, only to find the door locked. Using magic, he opened it and attempted to wake her, but she insisted he leave her be due to fatigue. Undeterred, Leo cast a spell to alter his voice to sound like Echidna's, hoping to rouse her. Startled, Steina sprang up, thinking she was addressing Echidna, and began reporting the issues plaguing the army. Realizing her mistake, she became enraged and unleashed her magical powers at Leo. After the initial chaos, Steina dressed and met Leo in his office. They discussed the dire state of the demon army, with most key demons having retreated to their world to recuperate after Leo's previous attack. Steina had been left to manage the remnants, an overwhelming task. Eager to assist, Leo offered to compile a list of tasks for her, even suggesting he could repair the monoreactors, something typically only the creator could do, since he matched Steina's magical energy. Before getting to work, he donned a dark knight disguise,
adopting the name Lord Onyx to conceal his identity. As he left the office, he spotted a girl named Diana, who glanced at him before quickly fleeing. Undeterred, Leo returned to Steina's office half an hour later, announcing he had fixed the reactors. Feeling fatigued, he requested a brief rest, creating a magical sphere called the Mirage Eye to observe Steina's progress while he recuperated. After some time, Steina deemed his rest sufficient, but Leo insisted he needed more. An hour later, Steina's frustration peaked. She attempted to drag him off the sofa, but he employed a weight-enhancing spell to remain in place. Just as she prepared to unleash her magic in retaliation, a knock at the door interrupted. Diana entered, presenting Leo with a special talisman, revealing it had worked flawlessly. Steina learned that Leo had procured a purple gem, an amethyst, from a goblin, which he had infused with magical energy that resonated with Steina's. He had also taught Diana how to use the charm to assist with the energy reactors, and she had recruited 3 more individuals to help her share the workload. Leo instructed Diana to continue overseeing the reactors alongside her new helpers, promising to create enough talismans for all of them. Steina, impressed and surprised by Leo's accomplishments, acknowledged her previous misjudgment of him and expressed her eagerness to collaborate. That evening, Steina summoned Leo again, briefing him on a mission involving Lily, who was heading to the Long Sea, where dragon allies of the demon army resided, supplying the castle with goods. Steina presented Leo with Lily's ill-conceived mission plan and requested his assistance the following day. Upon arriving at Largo, Leo found Lily and her followers engaged in a chaotic race, wreaking havoc all around. After the race, while the group took a break, Leo pondered how to utilize the army's creatures' skills for efficient supply transport. Lily approached Leo, offering him a carrot, which he declined. She then went on to distribute the carrots to her workers, one of whom recognized Leo. Just as Lily was about to divulge his identity, Leo interrupted, claiming he was merely an assistant. After a brief respite, Leo attempted to delegate tasks to the workers, but they ignored him, insisting only Lily could give orders. Frustrated, Leo took a moment at a nearby store. Moments later, Lily entered to check on him, and upon hearing Leo complain of a headache, she hurried off to fetch medicine. Observing her concern, Leo devised an elaborate scheme to teach her a lesson. When Lily returned with the medicine, she found Leo dramatically feigning death from a poisonous snake bite, claiming the only cure was rare herbs from the western peaks. Without hesitation, she dashed off to find them.
As soon as she departs, Leo magically restores himself and reveals that he summoned the serpent. He sends forth a mystical orb known as a Mirage Eye to monitor Lily's journey. He explains that he has set up challenges en route to the western peaks, which she can only overcome by seeking assistance from her followers. Meanwhile, Lily transforms into a divine wolf named Fenrir to gather herbs more swiftly. She soon confronts her first obstacle, an unyielding rock. Despite her attempts to break it through sheer force, she fails. Leo observes patiently, hoping she will ask for help. However, Lily's stubbornness leads her to persist until she eventually shatters the rock, frustrating Leo as she misses the lesson he intended to teach. Next, Lily encounters a tunnel filled with gooey creatures known as slimes that obstruct her path. Utilizing her wolf howl, she destroys the main slime, leading to the collapse of the others. Finally, she reaches a cliff that seems insurmountable. Here, Leo appears in disguise as a man named Godheart, advising her to seek help from a friend. This time, Lily heeds his advice and seeks assistance. After some time, she arrives at the river below the cliff, explaining to Leo that she sought help in a nearby town, where they suggested swimming across the riverbed and climbing up. Lily crosses the river with ease and continues to navigate the other challenges Leo has set for her until she finally reaches the western peaks to gather the medicinal herbs. The next day, Leo wakes to find that Lily has left the medicinal herbs for him. She then visits his store to check on him, presenting a drawing of a new mission. She inquires whether Leo believes this plan could enhance their collaboration. Leo asks if she devised the plan herself, to which she replies that Godhard advised her. At that moment, Leo realizes that he merely needed to suggest a better way of working together. Later, Leo meets with Steina and presents a report on the successful mission in Largo. This report prompts Steina to recognize Lily's gradual growth and maturity. Subsequently, Steina shows Leo a message from the Demon Queen, Echidna, demanding the immediate presence of the Dark Knight, Onyx. Leo quickly makes his way to Echidna's chamber, where the Demon Queen warmly greets him, expressing gratitude for his contributions to the army. She even invites him to a private feast for just the two of them. As they converse, Echidna requests Leo to remove his helmet, but he declines, citing politeness. She attempts to take it off herself, but Leo uses magic to subtly alter his appearance. Upon seeing his face, Echidna expresses her admiration. Leo tries to intoxicate her to steer the conversation away, but after several drinks, he realizes it won't work. After hours of dialogue, Echidna thanks him once more for his efforts and asserts that anyone is welcome in her army. Curious, Leo inquires about the hero, which provokes Echidna's anger. She begins to speak disparagingly about Leo, unaware that he is the very man before her. She complains that if not for the hero, she would have already possessed the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is a legendary treasure used in the creation of the capital city, possessing the ability to transform barren lands into fertile fields and cure diseases. Intrigued by why Echidna desires the Philosopher's Stone, Leo asks her about it. She leads him to a balcony for a breathtaking view and explains her motivation. The demon world is a lifeless wasteland devoid of sunlight and vegetation, engulfed in chaos due to its harsh conditions. Echidna dreams of using the Philosopher's Stone to rejuvenate her realm and create a beautiful place to live. Leo also questions her stance against unnecessary killing, to which Echidna responds simply yet profoundly. She feels empathy for humans and harbors no resentment toward the hero, recognizing that he is merely fulfilling his duty. The conversation shifts to Leo's reasons for joining the demon army. Moved by Echidna's sincerity, he nearly reveals his true identity, but is interrupted by Steina and Lily, who present two notes to Echidna. The notes disclose that Mearns has left the army to travel and that Edward has taken away the apple due to his inability to train his soldiers properly. After reading the notes, Leo offers to find Mearns, while Echidna promises to address Edward's situation. Leo departs the castle, following Mearns' magical trail to a forest, where he is unexpectedly attacked by Mearns, who attempts to kill him. However, Leo quickly reveals his true identity, calming Mearns down. The two sit to converse, but Leo uses magic to chain Mearns' ankle to ensure he cannot leave, as the army needs him. During their discussion, Mearns informs Leo that he must conduct interviews for new recruits alone in 3 days, a task he feels uncomfortable with due to his poor communication skills. Mearns had planned to travel to other towns to improve his speaking abilities, but now turns to Leo for help, asking him to teach him effective communication in just 3 days. Initially hesitant, Leo is prompted by Mearns' desire to leave, but the magical chain halts him. Seeing this, Leo reassures Mearns that he will take on the role of his new teacher. Later, Leo speaks with Echidna, who updates him on Mearns' situation and informs him that Edwin is fine despite his attempts to take an apple using various weapons that ended up destroyed. In a new effort to enhance Mearns' communication skills, Leo and Mearns disguise themselves as waiters in the castle's dining room. This practical experience allows Mearns to learn to relate better to others. Leo advises him to empathize and listen actively as they serve food. Mearns applies Leo's tips and makes a thoughtful recommendation to some new mercenaries regarding their meat choices. However, one mercenary rudely dismisses Mearns and mistreats him, prompting Mearns to quickly subdue the aggressor, breaking his arm and easily defeating the others. After this altercation, as they stroll through the castle, Leo praises Mearns for his communication skills with the mercenaries. Then, they proceed to Leo's room for a simulated interview. Mearns asks Leo why he joined their group,
suspecting that Leo's earlier statement about wanting to destroy humanity was a facade given his power to do so independently. Leo attempts to deflect the question with humor, but Mearns presses on, asking if he ever wished for the demon's demise. This moment reveals a significant detail about Mearns's background. His parents sold him because he is half demon. Mearns served several masters before being bought by the Assassin's Guild, where he discovered his natural talent for killing. During a time when he assisted the demon army in invading a city, he was surprised to find that Echidna wasn't there to kill everyone. Instead, she began doing good for the city's inhabitants. Witnessing her kindness, Mearns decided to join the Echidna army, where he found camaraderie with several people. Mearns confides in Leo that he initially aided Echidna with the hope of annihilating humans, but Leo's actions altered those plans. Now, curious about Leo's story, Mearns asks him to hear it. Leo begins to recount a time thousands of years ago when the human world was in the machine age. Suddenly, a massive rift opened in Tokyo, allowing countless demons to emerge, sowing conflict and chaos across the planet. Recognizing humanity's powerlessness against the demons, they united to create 12 biological weapons infused with demonic power known as the Demon Heart series, solely intended to defend humanity. As time passed, these heroes aged and fell in battle, but Leo, designed to be durable and long-lived, became the last of the 12 to survive. After the collapse of the industrial world, Leo took on the role of teaching magic to humans, continuing to defend them through wars without abandoning them. However, he confesses to Mearns that he felt a sense of relief when the humans banished him, as it allowed him to stop being a hero and embrace his true self. Now, Leo lives a second life, aiding the demon army, assuring Mearns that he will help them achieve their goal of obtaining the Philosopher's Stone, a powerful object capable of revitalizing their world and fostering their happiness. Mearns expresses confusion about why Leo shared such an extensive backstory with him.
Leo shares that he relayed everything to Mearns because he genuinely wanted to hear it. He encourages Mearns to remain authentic and considerate, believing these traits will aid in conducting a successful interview. A few days later, Leo meets with Giulietta, Edward's daughter, who expresses her worries about her father's reaction to the defeat of his soldiers by a mere arch-chimera. Giulietta reveals that Edward expects his soldiers to match his strength and feels disappointed, believing they lack effort after their swift defeat. Leo reassures Giulietta that he will address Edward's behavior. Meanwhile, Mearns confides in Steina and Lily about Leo, describing him as a living weapon. Steina responds that they will report any suspicious behavior to Echidna, the demon queen, but they decide to trust him for now while keeping a watchful eye. The scene shifts to Leo, who contemplates a strategy to help Edward become a better teacher. He discovers Lily's report about a giant monster known as the mechanical golem, which sparks a brilliant idea. Later, Echidna contacts Leo to inform him that Edward has chosen to resign as a general and restart his journey as a foot soldier. Leo reassures her that he will manage the situation, and before ending the call, Echidna mentions she has something important to discuss with him once everything is resolved. Finally, Lily presents the mechanical golem to Leo and Giulietta, who explains that this colossal creature is a weapon from the industrial age, and he plans to use it to address the issues surrounding Edward and his soldiers. A few hours later, Edward gathers his soldiers to announce his resignation as general, stating that Giulietta will succeed him. However, their meeting is abruptly interrupted by the appearance of the mechanical golem at the camp. Edward quickly asserts his authority and commands his soldiers to attack the golem. Despite their efforts, none are able to harm the giant machine, leading them to flee in fear. Edward bravely attempts to confront the golem himself, but it retaliates with a sword, nearly injuring him. Just in time, Leo arrives and explains the golem's weapon composition, offering Edward advice on how to defeat the machine. With Leo's guidance, Edward begins to effectively combat the golem. Giulietta then provides a crucial tip, pointing out the machine's weak point in its right torso. Following her advice, Edward strikes that spot and successfully defeats the golem. However, the defeated machine emits a strange noise, awakening other nearby golems. At this critical moment, Echidna arrives with the remaining generals and they collaborate to halt the awakened golems. After the conflict, Leo lectures Edward, asserting that it's inconceivable he didn't know the golem's weaknesses. He accuses Edward of not putting in enough effort, leading Edward to realize he has been treating his soldiers similarly. This epiphany prompts Edward to apologize for his harsh treatment, and his soldiers forgive him, promising to strive harder in the future. Days later, Leo is reading in his room when Steina enters to inform him about a special meeting where Echidna plans to promote him to a leadership rank along with the other generals. Leo responds by saying he will use this opportunity to reveal his true reasons for joining the demon army. As Steina is about to leave, she notices Leo reading a book titled I Brad, the one that joins hands. He simply states he wanted to read something, avoiding further details. Once Steina leaves, Leo reflects on how the I Brad in the book contrasts with the real one, leading him to a flashback from thousands of years ago. In this flashback, Leo is about to kill an imp named I Brad. The imp explains that not all demons wish to attack humanity, recounting how the Demon King accidentally opened a portal between the human and demon worlds. Many demons were curious about humanity, believing it might be better than their own existence. I Brad grows animated as he shares his story, hoping to delay his fate. He describes the human world as fascinating and mentions a lost harmony that was shattered by the violent ways of Demon King Baliel, a name Leo recognizes from human records. I Brad suggests that perhaps a member of demon royalty once appeared in the human realm, explaining the presence of Baliel's name in various texts. As they walk together, I Brad shares more about his plight, revealing he attempted to return home but found the portal sealed, leaving him trapped. He explains that demons sought to expand due to resource scarcity, but chaos erupted when creatures like ogres and ghouls waged war in the human realm. After their discussion, Leo decides against killing I Brad, opting instead to take him to the containment squad, recognizing the value of the information he possesses. I Brad, curious, asks Leo for his name, bringing a smile to his face, as no demon had ever asked him this before. He introduces himself and shares the purpose of his creation as a defender of humanity. I Brad expresses sympathy for Leo's existence, suggesting he find a new reason to live. Leo dismisses I Brad's concern, explaining he is the weakest among the Demon Heart series and might perish in combat anyway. As the containment squad arrives, I Brad expresses hope that humans and demons might one day coexist peacefully. Before Leo departs, I Brad encourages him to follow his own path, promising to remember Leo's name. The flashback concludes, returning to the present, where Leo heads to Echidna's living room, I Brad's words resonating in his mind. He's determined to reveal his true identity to the Queen. But the meeting is interrupted by a member of the army announcing the closing of the portal of the Great Spirit. Echidna, with Steina and Leo's assistance, attempt to prevent the portal from closing. They gather in a room where Echidna informs them that the portal will remain open for no more than 7 days. This portal is crucial, serving as the link between the human and demon worlds, and its closure could mean hundreds or thousands of years before another opens. Faced with this dilemma, they have two choices: return to the demon world and disband the army, or attempt to steal the Philosopher's Stone, a powerful object protected by the hero. Not wanting to incite unnecessary bloodshed, Echidna opts for the first option. At this moment, Lily begins to unveil the truth about the hero, but is silenced by Steina, who asserts that now is not the time for such revelations. Feeling defeated and emotional, Echidna stands, turning her back to her followers to hide her tears. She's heartbroken that she cannot fulfill her dream of saving her world, but she tries to maintain her strength, believing a queen must never show weakness. However, Leo shifts the conversation by removing his helmet and revealing that there are actually 2 Philosopher's Stones, not just one. Initially, Echidna does not turn to see this revelation. Leo continues, explaining that the Philosopher's Stone is not a mere wish-granting device. They will need a manual to understand how to harness its energy for Echidna's purpose. After sharing this, Leo asks Echidna to turn around. When she does, she is shocked to discover that Leo is the hero she despises, leading to her anger and a commotion. Once the group calms down, they engage in conversation, with Leo trying to clarify that concealing his identity was the only way he could assist her. This explanation only fuels her anger further. Eventually, Lily, Steina, Edward, and Mearns step in to persuade Echidna to listen, leading her to calm down and accept the situation.
Leo reveals that the second Philosopher's Stone is hidden atop a mountain, guarded by a formidable being. The group embarks on their journey, but Lily struggles with the cold, as her kind is not suited for low temperatures. Steina uses a spell to keep her warm, allowing the group, including all the generals, to continue. As they walk, Leo and Echidna discuss the potential for peace between humans and demons. Echidna expresses her unwavering commitment to achieving this harmony, which elicits a smile from Leo, though she notices a hint of sadness in his expression. Before she can dwell on it, Leo playfully teases her, prompting a light-hearted snowball exchange. Dismissing the sadness as mere imagination, the generals observe the camaraderie between Leo and Echidna, speculating that he might become the fifth general. Leo then confides in Echidna about his origins, surprising her with the revelation of his age and the endless cycle of saving humanity he endures. Upon reaching the mountain's summit, Mearns questions the whereabouts of the Guardian. In a shocking turn, Leo reveals that the Guardian is a fabrication and that the second Philosopher's Stone is, in fact, his heart. He warns that if they attempt to flee, he will annihilate all of humanity, insisting that they must kill him to save both races. When Leo attacks with his sword, Echidna swiftly casts a protective spell. This intense moment evokes memories of Echidna's childhood, recalling a servant who spoke of a hero in the human realm, powerful enough to defeat the demon king Belial and a mighty sorcerer named Nostero. The servant cautioned her against challenging this hero when she became queen, as it could lead to her demise. Echidna dismisses the warning, confident in her abilities, though she admits she has no desire to become queen. In the present, when Echidna attempts to reason with Leo, he interrupts her with an attack, sparking a sword duel that leaves the generals in shock. Leo knocks Echidna down, revealing that he was created solely to save the world. He launches a powerful strike at her, but she evades it, realizing the contradictions in his words. As Leo's demeanor shifts to that of a villain, he begins to laugh maniacally, using a wind spell to knock Echidna down and trying to kill her with his sword. Edward intervenes, trying to reason with Leo, but he is pushed aside. Steina attempts to help, but Leo's anger escalates, and he retaliates, prompting Steina to trap him in a dark prison spell. However, Leo effortlessly breaks free and challenges Steina, indicating that if he is to be stopped, they must fight seriously. Steina tries to comprehend why Leo cannot continue aiding them, but Leo insists that if they do not kill him, everyone will perish. He attacks Echidna with a barrage of magical arrows, prompting Edward to shield Steina with his body. Frustrated, Leo expresses his weariness with the cycle of saving the world. He conjures multiple arrows in the sky, threatening to obliterate all worlds. Echidna protects her comrades with a magical shield, while Lily pleads with Leo to halt his rampage, offering to listen to his troubles as he had once done for her. He dismisses her, claiming their weakness as the true issue, and attacks, leaving her unconscious. Echidna's anger boils over. She no longer views Leo as the hero he once was, and prepares to eliminate him. Steina joins the fray, unleashing a high-ranking lightning spell, but Leo remains unscathed, surprising both women. Edward, despite Leo's betrayal, stands in admiration of him and taps into his dragon blood to fight earnestly. However, Leo proves to be an overwhelming opponent, freezing Edward and damaging his dragon scales with fire magic, incapacitating him.
Seeing this, Echidna and Steina resolve to join forces against Leo. Steina conjures an earth prison, while Echidna ignites it with her fire magic. Yet Leo breaks free without a scratch. Echidna recalls his hyperreactive ability, which allows him to copy and enhance any power, rendering him nearly invincible. As Leo approaches, Mearns arrives, frustrated at his inability to harm Leo, and joins the fight. Mearns questions Leo's true motives, but Leo reveals he seeks a worthy opponent to defeat him. Mearns, undeterred, uses an air skill to engage Leo, but ultimately falls from the sky, defeated. As Leo laughs, Lily transforms into a wolf, Fenrir, and launches a surprise attack, tearfully expressing her desire to stop him, sensing his lack of enjoyment in his actions. Despite her efforts, Leo knocks her out with a powerful lightning strike. Recognizing the urgency of their situation, Echidna decides to cast one final powerful spell, asking Steina to distract Leo while she prepares. Steina agrees, engaging Leo in battle and highlighting his kindness, pointing out that he had multiple opportunities to kill them but chose not to. However, Leo lands a punch in Steina, incapacitating her. In that moment, Echidna completes her spell, unleashing a powerful incantation called Anti-Hero. As the spell hurtles toward Leo, he's flooded with memories of a time he witnessed a woman giving bread to joyful children, wishing for everlasting peace. He realizes that he does not share this wish, feeling a deep sadness that his existence relies on the threats humanity faces. Despairing, he concocts a plan. If he instigates chaos himself, he can continue to be the hero he has always been. With this dark epiphany, Leo repairs broken equipment in an abandoned laboratory and successfully recreates the Demon Heart series he had been developing. He declares his new mission to bring chaos to the world and eliminate humanity, ensuring he can continue to maintain his identity as a hero and continue his rescue missions indefinitely. After this revelation, Leo returns to the city, discovering a new portal in the mountains. He asserts his intention to protect everyone, taking charge of the situation. Yet a part of him recognizes the drastic actions he has taken, leading to a profound realization that he is on the verge of destroying humanity for his own selfish desires. This epiphany shakes him to his core, prompting him to return to the laboratory he recently built.
Once there, he begins to dismantle all the heroes from the Diamond Heart series, grappling with guilt over his near actions. After a moment of remorse, he finds his composure and makes a monumental decision. He will cease being a hero and pass his Philosopher's Stone to someone more deserving. His new quest commences with him battling and defeating the demon army that threatens humanity. During these encounters, he meets Echidna for the first time and is struck by her strong moral stance as she commands her army to avoid unnecessary bloodshed and destruction. Furious with Echidna, Leo kidnaps some of her soldiers for interrogation, only to discover that they speak highly of their queen. This leads him to see Echidna as a potential successor. He decides to test her and her generals in battle to assess their determination and capabilities. After defeating all the generals and besting Echidna herself, Leo believes she is worthy of his Philosopher's Stone. Returning to the present, the spell Echidna casts against Leo bears down on him. He thanks her and accepts the full force of the attack, which strips him of the abilities he gained over 3,000 years, a significant blow. However, the spell also begins to affect Echidna, causing her to bleed as she struggles to maintain it. In that moment, Echidna reflects on Leo's life, realizing that his fate has been unjust. Despite being a hero, all he ever wanted was someone to save him, and the irony of his situation weighs heavily on her. Conversely, Leo expresses contentment with his choice to ally with the demon army. He fondly recalls the joy he found in spending time with Echidna and her generals, feeling relieved that they will likely succeed in bringing peace between the human and demonic realms, even at the cost of his own life.
Suddenly, Echidna commands her generals to strike Leo with their final attacks, each unleashing their most powerful abilities, causing him to bleed for the first time in years. Steiner casts a formidable spell to eliminate Leo, but he calmly entrusts the rest to them before collapsing, prompting Echidna to cry out in a mix of anger and sorrow. After the battle, Leo awakens on the brink of death, surprisingly feeling that losing actually feels good. Echidna and the generals gather around him with wistful smiles. Leo shares that he always wanted to play the role of a villain, and informs Echidna that the Philosopher's Stone now belongs to her. Overcome with emotion, Lily pleads with them not to kill Leo, tears streaming down her face, while Mearns tries to comfort her. As Echidna approaches Leo to extract the Philosopher's Stone, she hesitates and unexpectedly slaps him, declaring she's too busy for favors, and naming him the ambassador between the human and demonic worlds. This announcement brings a smile to Edward. Leo pleads with Edward to reconsider, but Edward insists that he still has much to learn from Leo, believing he's the only one who can unite both realms. Edward supports Echidna's decision to keep Leo alive, showing faith in his mentor. Meanwhile, Lily scolds Leo, tears in her eyes, urging him to ask for help if needed. Yet Leo is more concerned about the limited time they have before his wound heals entirely, which would prevent the extraction of the Philosopher's Stone. Mearns approaches Leo, and he feels a glimmer of hope that Mearns can suppress his emotions and extract the stone. Instead, Mearns kicks Leo, telling him he knows Leo has always wanted to live. He urges him to fulfill his desire to live rather than die. Frustrated by Mearns's refusal to end his life, Leo turns to Steiner for assistance. However, Steiner only points to Leo's spirit, questioning why he wants to die. Leo explains that his desire to die stems from a wish to save humanity. Despite his strong sense of self, he feels compelled by his original programming to protect them. Steiner argues that Leo's own ego should be enough to override this ingrained command and encourages him to try. Leo closes his eyes and delves into his subconscious, where he hears a relentless voice urging him to protect humanity. Frustrated, he perseveres until the voice ceases. When he opens his eyes, he realizes he has successfully deactivated the order imposed on him by humans. Echidna then speaks, offering to grant his wish to die, but also stating that since he no longer follows anyone's orders, he should work for her. At that moment, memories of Ibrad's words flood Leo's mind, causing him to break down in tears as his wound begins to close, marking a profound shift in his understanding of himself and his purpose. Echidna extends her hand to Leo, telling him to abandon his life as a hero. He takes her hand, rising to his feet, signifying his willingness to leave his heroic past behind. Echidna reassures him that his 3,000 years of suffering are finally over, a statement that fills all the generals with joy. After formally joining Echidna's army, Leo returns to the castle, entering a room where the generals rest after the battle. Echidna asks Leo about any regrets for missing his chance to die and free himself from his burdens. Leo assures him he has no regrets. He wants to assist her in building a better world for both humans and demons. Extending his hand in a gesture of commitment, he promises to help in any way he can. Echidna reciprocates, extending her hand, but their moment is interrupted by Julieta, who reports a new conflict involving the wyverns. Echidna swiftly takes charge, waking the generals and assigning Edward to handle the situation. More subordinates enter the room seeking assistance from the generals, making it clear that much work remains within the army. Echidna tells Leo they must focus on the tasks at hand. Leo confidently replies that he will take care of things. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch this next video. See you in the next one.